Hello, Scorpio. This is your reading for the week of October 5th through 11th. Remember, Scorpio, the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And the opening energy for our reading today is coming from the Creativity Oracle card, and this one is details. Okay, look at the details on this card. Beautiful card. Examine your situation and take care of every detail, one step at a time. Paying attention to the details, that feels like it is a really good suggestion for this week. Let's do our Dove and Serpent spread. We're going to do things a little bit differently today, in that we're going to do half the reading with the Thoth deck and the other half with the Rider-Waite. Okay, we have a Moon card. We have a Lover's card. We have a Four of Pentacles. We have the Strength or Fortitude or Lust card. We have a Five of Pentacles and a Five of Wands. Very strong energy here. See, already there's a lot of courage kind of going into something new. On the path of the Serpent, we have a Nine of Swords. We have a Three of Wands. We have an Eight of Swords, which I think is an Eight of Pentacles. Yeah, so this is exactly that examination, the details, right? That's what we've got here exactly right. Examine your situation and take care of every detail, one step at a time. Okay, and that's what you're doing here with the Eight and the Eight and the Three. The Nine of Swords is, you know, it's kind of like that too. We're having that mental discipline. And we're understanding kind of the right thing to do because we're paying attention. We're looking at those details. We're refining something, and we're not going to miss the little things, because that's how you're going to make the most progress this week, is by paying attention to those little details. All right. Now, let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set it down right here with Alien, Simon Mork Ripley, right there on top. And now we're not going to look at that card until the very end. It will tie everything together, and it will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any moment during this message you feel like you might know what that card is, put your prediction in the comments below the video. Now, as we look around the room, we see some majors, right? 1, 2, 3. A nice cluster of major arcana cards here. We've got fire, fire. We don't have any water, and the water's been a weird thing today with the readings that I've been doing today. There hasn't been any real water cards. And it doesn't mean that it's not a good time for love. It doesn't mean that there's no emotions or no feelings. What it means, I think, is that a lot of your emotions, a lot of that water energy is being channeled into ambition, into passion, you know. It's not really a time for just kind of lounging around and settling in and just kind of like letting things be what they are and just seeing what happens. It's a time to like make things happen, you know. So I like that. I think it's a good energy. It's a time for being proactive. It's a good week for taking action and not for like waiting around, right? But in the extended, we've been getting the 5th hexagram, which is the hexagram of waiting. So stay tuned for your extended reading, see if we get the same hexagram there. We also have our air energy here, and of course we have earth, earth, and earth. So there's a problem. If there's a problem, guess what? You'll solve it. Okay, and that's what's going on here. There's some, you know, it's a financial thing, it's a physical thing, it's something to do with health or your well-being maybe. Whatever your problem is, whatever's broken right now, you're fixing it. Okay, you're doing everything, you're paying attention to the details, you're paying attention to what your life needs right now, and you're taking care of all those little things. Some of you are literally going around the house this week and just saying any little thing any little problem or defect that's been there, I'm going to fix it before it becomes a bigger problem. Okay, so I think that's a kind of a strong energy this week too. We start out with this Moon card, and the Moon card could be illusion, it could be confusion. Okay, it could be that we are sort of thinking of this dark, scary forest type of energy, that we're not really sure what the future is holding right now. This to me is a card maybe of even a misunderstanding. Okay, some of you might be dealing with a misunderstanding in your relationship with someone very close to you, family member, a friend, a lover, a best friend kind of thing, someone really close. I feel like there's maybe a misunderstanding that takes place. Just pay attention to what's really going on and don't make too much of it. I feel like it's something very small. It's like a miscommunication or something, yeah? Let's not let it become something too big, okay? It's also the card of imagination. I feel like a lot of you are finding creative solutions to your problems this week, okay? I think a lot of you have been having more vivid dreams lately. Yeah, even what you might consider prophetic dreams. Yeah, visions of the future and that sort of thing, okay? Because this is maybe, this is somebody that I think has a rich imagination, and that's a good thing, okay? Let me just say that. That's a very, very good thing. More people need to learn how to use their imagination. We have to be careful with that. We have to take this imagination, all of these images that you can hold in your mind, all of these, fantasies and all the creations, that vivid, the rich scenery of your interior world. It's important that we connect that with objective reality. Okay, we don't want to get lost in the sort of fantasy or the dream of life. And I think that's why we have this card of details, and we have the Eight of Pentacles and the Eight of Swords, which is saying like, yeah, we're going to be dreaming a lot. We're going to have a lot of ideas, a lot of fantasy. We're going to get really caught up in that inner life. But we don't want to then miss what's going on outside. Okay, when you're kind of daydreaming and then you kind of like, you don't hear somebody walk in or you don't hear your boss calling your name or something, you're going to miss those little details if we're just kind of like, my mind is elsewhere, but I'm filling out my paperwork, but I'm just like thinking of other stuff. I might forget to sign my name. I might forget to put the date on the paper, okay? So I feel like there's that kind of almost an interference energy right now for you. So it's important for you to dream and have this rich imagination, but make sure it doesn't cost you a very easily preventable error. Okay? I think that's like a big thing that I'm feeling now, because there's such a contrast between the Moon card and the Eights. Okay? We want to be creative. We want to have we want to be inspired, and we want to use our imagination to get clever ideas and new thought. And, that's how you're going to solve a lot of problems too, is like with your creativity. But we have to be able to translate that into practical steps that we can actually implement. So we're looking for creative solutions. We're looking to be inspired by our imagination, but we don't want to miss the small details that may float by. If we're busy, daydreaming, then we're going to miss something. It's something that's preventable. Okay, for a lot of you, I think that's a big message here. We also have this Lover's card. Yeah, for some of you, this is going to be a time for focusing on your interpersonal relationships, whether this is a spouse or a partner or a close friend or a family member of another kind. There is a misunderstanding here, or kind of what I'm feeling is that we don't want to be so wrapped up in the fantasy of that relationship that you miss some very important details. Okay? Because then there might be a misunderstanding of another kind. Then we might miss those subtle clues, or those maybe not so subtle. We might miss those smaller little details, those small signals that the other person is sending us. And we might form an incorrect conclusion. So when we look at the cards that way, for some of you, this is going to be, we're so wrapped up in what we want to feel and what we want to experience that we're not actually reading the signs that the other person is sending. Okay? And then we might set ourselves up for a little bit of anxiety because things won't turn out the way we wanted them to or thought they were going to. But we could have anticipated that if we weren't so caught up in the dream of it all, or the fantasy, or the illusion, or what we wanted to sort of see. Yeah. I think for some of you, this is a card really of us looking for inspiration. If there is some kind of a blockage for you, I almost feel some of you are experiencing a creative blockage. we're looking for inspiration that's going to help us break through that blockage and overcome that kind of obstacle. I feel like there is this kind of contrast. I was going to say a contradiction, but I kind of feel like there's just like this difference maybe between the way something looks in our mind and the way it's actually showing up when we do the work and when we try to build it. Yeah, there's a difference. There's some kind of a conflict between how we picture it here and what it looks like here when after we make it. It's kind of like me. Well, I think of like I had those gingerbread houses during the holidays. I always try to do those with my daughter, and the way I see it in my head it looks perfect. I'm fantasizing about it now. It's just amazing. It's the best one. But when I do it, it's just a pile of slop. I mean, it just looks terrible, right? I can't translate that. I can't translate my imagination to my fingertips in that way. I'm not very good with arts and crafts, right? My stuff looks a little janky sometimes. I still have fun though, and we still have a good time, but it does not look like what I imagine it to look like. And so I feel like there might be that kind of a contrast in your life right now. That maybe things aren't turning out the way you've envisioned them, but I think the cards are saying keep at it. Pay attention to those details and take care of them one step at a time. And maybe keep going and it will get better. You will be able to refine it. I bet if I did 100 of those gingerbread houses, eventually it would look okay, probably, maybe. No. But, over time you can refine that. So anyway, the Lover's card. I feel like your intuition is trying to tell you something, and in some ways your intuition is... like you've taken in all the data. Like sometimes intuition or instinct or that gut feeling is because your soul has absorbed all of the information around it, not just what you were listening to, not just what you were looking at, but everything around you, your soul has taken in and has formed a conclusion and has been trying to tell you something, right? But we might be so wrapped up in what we want to experience that we're not paying attention to those details. We're not paying attention perhaps to the intuition, right? So listen to your intuition this week. It's very important that we pay attention. That if your intuition is nudging you and telling you to look over there, then just look over there and make sure everything is as it should be. That's all, okay? It would be a very good week for romance for some of you, but I think that it's important that you go into something knowing that it's not going to look exactly perfect like you picture it in your head. It's going to be work. You're going to have to refine the relationship over time, okay? And don't get so wrapped up in what you want it to be that you ignore your intuition. Okay, so that's a really big message here for you as well. The Four of Pentacles is a card of power. It's a card of a consolidation of power. It's kind of resources in a way, right? It's kind of like how we inventory and stockpile our resources. I think that it's kind of us having boundaries or having rules or setting up some kind of law and order in our life. That's saying, as good as something may feel, as much as I may want it to be something, I got to have boundaries, I got to have limits, I've got to set rules for myself. I think it's a good week for giving ourselves like a time limit or something, or it's just like you want to call somebody every second of every day, cap it. Say, I'm only going to text them 5 times today, and that's it. That's going to be my limit, right? And so we give ourselves that limit so that we don't end up going overboard. I think for some of you, this is going to be really a focus on a budget. Okay, we have a lot of these pentacle cards and a lot of the air cards. I feel like we're figuring out how we can make more progress in life, and this is that card of we're trying to gain money, trying to stack some coins, trying to save money. Maybe you're saving for the holidays or for a vacation or something like this, or some saving up for some expense that is coming. So it's important that we have some kind of a budget on our resources. Time, effort, energy, money, and space those are our resources. Some of those are finite, some of those are renewable, okay? And we just have to take an inventory and see, you know, what it is that we have and how we can discipline ourselves so that we don't run out of resources too quickly. So in a way, pace yourself a little bit this week, okay? Less might be more. Slowing down might be good so that you can pay attention to the details. Yeah. This is us being very careful and very practical. Focus on, again, those little things around the house. If you have a leaky faucet, drip, 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 drip. May not seem like much, but over the course of the year, maybe it costs you $100. Fix it. You know, little things like that, little energy leakages that we may not even really be noticing. Okay? And I think it's going to be a pretty prosperous month for you. And it's the more prosperous things get, the easier it is for us to kind of ignore or not even notice the little drip, drip, drip. Okay? Because we're so excited about what we're doing and about all the success that's coming in, and we just kind of want to keep doing that. But you want that money to last. You want it to stay. You know, you have an opportunity right now to make a lot of money. Don't let it just like get funneled out the back door. We've got to make sure we don't have these energy leakages somewhere, right? So, you know, I think it's just about kind of patching the holes and things like that, and tightening the nuts and bolts to make sure that nothing escapes our attention. Again, the focusing on the little details of life that are going to make everything more successful and more stable. This is like, you know, this is a good foundation for you. And you want to make sure the foundations are good. If this is a romantic situation for some of you, you want that relationship to be built on trust and boundaries and respect, okay? And there's got to be some kind of, rules to the thing. You want to have a good foundation of, you know, trust, a foundation of support. You want there to be stability. Now, back here we have courage, we have lust, we have strength and fortitude. This is energy. This is our joy and our desire right now. And so sometimes it feels like this can be the overwhelming thing, that we just want something so bad and it feels so good that we're ignoring some of the finer details, that we're not paying attention to those details, okay? So whatever you're doing this week, especially those things that you're kind of immersed in that feel really, really good, that bring like this kind of joy, that you feel like you're using your strength and you have like a zest to it, right? Anything for which you have, you're feeling this passion. Make sure that you also keep a good head on your shoulders so that you can see the finer details. We don't want to get so carried away with something that we make mistakes or that we don't see the red flags. You know, you're house shopping. Oh, this house, I'm so excited. This house looks so cool. I can't wait. I love it. I love it. You're not going to see that, oh, it's got like a rusty foundation or whatever, you know. And it's like, it's not very good on the inside. You got to like look under the sink. You know, you got to peek under the house in the crawl space. You got to go look in the attic. You got to get up on the roof and like poke it with a stick, you know. You got to check those smaller details, but we don't want to be so wrapped up in how it feels that we miss those signs, okay? And this could be romance, it could be finances, it could be the job, it could be your art, your creativity, okay? We don't want to be so carried away with something that, we can't slow down and refine our energy. We need to control. This is a card of discipline. This is a card of that fortification, you know, that we want to use our power. This is power. These two cards get together. And the problem, the shadow side of these cards is that I got all this money now, I'm going to make it rain. Everywhere I go, right? Discipline, rules, limits, you know. We want to use this power. We have all this power. Four of Pentacles is a card called power. The Strength card is also power. It's us using our power. How do we use it? You have all this money. It's not powerful. It's not strong of you to spend it all in one place. Now, I'm all for spending money. But do it consciously, do it wisely, do it with a purpose. Okay? Whatever your power is, whatever your resources are, that you're accumulating. Okay? Your power is in your ability to restrain yourself, to hold yourself back, to hold the reins, and not let yourself do everything that you have a desire to do, whether it's in love and romance, or if it's in business, or if it's in your finances, or activities, I don't know, whatever it could be, this appetite that we have. So power is in your ability to control, and direct your resources appropriately. So it's a time really of like enjoying those resources and using them up, using them the way you want to, but doing so consciously and with intention. Whatever your resources are, time, effort, energy, money, and space. Okay? So I think it's a good time to use the resources to show your power and to get out there and to indulge in things that you want in life and to go after those things with ambition, but just do so responsibly. Yeah. Now we have a Five of Pentacles up here. Five of Pentacles sometimes is financial worry. Okay? And so make sure that in your success this week, you're putting aside enough money to take care of those problems, okay? Because this is like, there's financial stuff or there's some kind of practical matter that we're feeling a little bit of anxiety about. It requires strength and resolve to put the money where it needs to go, to put the resources. Power is knowing where to put your resources, right? And feeling you have the power to do that. It feels good when you're able to like get the tire fixed on the car, And I'm very happy that we put that money aside so we could get new tires. We had to get new tires. Tires are expensive. Oh my goodness, but we had to get them before winter because our tires were like literally bald. I mean, they were like smooth, And so before winter came, we had to put the money into the tires. And it was an expense, but really it's an investment, And so it feels good to have been able to do that I saved up enough money over the last few months that we could get some tires, And nothing fancy, but they're new and they're safe, and that's the most important thing anyway. So the Five of Pentacles. This could be like some economic anxiety, okay? And I think that this requires our intelligence and our analysis. We've got to pay attention to these details so that we can fix something. I feel like there might be some repairs that are needed for you this week. It'd be a good time to direct some of your funds or your energy or resources towards fixing the little things that may become bigger problems later, whether it's at home, at work, at school, okay? Whether it's physical stuff, health-wise, or whatever, relationship things. Address the smaller concerns now so that they don't become bigger problems later. Okay? I feel like for some of you, this is also like we're kind of working towards a breakthrough. Because I kind of feel like this card is like there's some golden light that's right on the other side. But we just have to figure out the right configuration before something really breaks free, breaks open, and becomes successful. Okay? So I feel like you've been really trying to direct your energy towards something and consistently refine it day after day after day, even though it's getting harder to have that kind of discipline, But that discipline's going to pay off because you're going to get the release of that energy. I kind of feel like what's breaking through that on the other side is that Five of Wands. I feel like this is like, when this obstacle is gone, your will now is liberated. I feel like what this five is, because it's a Leo energy, right? So I kind of feel that this, the resources that you have tied up in this thing now are going to be then freed up for you to put somewhere else. Once you fix these little problems, so they don't become bigger problems, first of all, which is a very good idea, then you can put that money somewhere else that's going to feel a lot more free. Okay? This is a card, it's Five of Wands. To me, it's a five-fingered hand. This is us reaching out into life and, kind of grasping what we really, really want. But you're prevented from doing that because there's other choices you have to make. So I think even the Lover's card is that card of choice, right? So it's kind of suggesting that for some of you, there's this choice of like where you're putting your resources right now. Are you choosing to save them and consolidate them and put that little repair off for later. Like for me with the tires, you know, it's just like I can save the money or I could buy the tires. I tried to put the tires off for as long as I could. Eventually I had to get the tires. But now that I got the tires, now I'm free next month and the months to kind of not have to worry about the tires for one thing. So I feel like my will is liberated a little bit. And now those finances are kind of liberated because I don't have to buy tires now. Okay, this is a card also of kind of, you know, competition and bringing something to bear on our lives, you know, putting in the effort somewhere. This is the card of being willing to kind of struggle for something, fight for something. Like we're wrestling something here, okay? And for some of you, I feel like this card is kind of advising you to not be passive. You know, to be proactive, to err on the side of like, I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to take care of it now just in case. I'd rather act and be wrong than not act and think, whoops, I should have done something. Okay? I kind of feel like there's that energy that's entering your life this week as well. And in a way, I think it's saying pick your battles, okay? But don't shy away from a fight if it needs to be there. Don't shy away from something that's challenging, just thinking like, well, maybe if I just stay on the sidelines, it'll pass me by and I'll miss it. So it's kind of like it's telling you address something as soon as you notice it. Again, details. Examine your situation and take care of every detail, one step at a time. It doesn't say to examine and see the detail and just wave at it as it goes by and starts getting bigger. It says take care of the detail. So look at your life and find those things that need taking care of and take care of them. That's what's going on right here, okay? Of course, we've got a 9 of Swords. 9 of Swords is mental discipline, okay? And sometimes it is this kind of despair that makes us feel like, you know, every time we solve a problem, another one comes. It's kind of like it's never ending, you know. It may feel, there may be this kind of suffering, this kind of, this frustration, right? Because it feels as if our problems keep coming one after the other, yeah. But this is the mental fortification. We've got to stay mentally disciplined for your life right now. Whatever your goals are, whatever you're doing, if it's relationship, work, homeschool, all of the above. Maybe you're a teenager, maybe you're retired. The mental discipline that it takes to succeed is the hardest part. Making the money, spending the money, that's the easy part. It's just keeping yourself organized, keeping your mind, keeping yourself in a good headspace to allow yourself to do it, okay? This is that analysis, the inquiry. This is the mental discipline that says I'm looking at the details, and sometimes we're going to lose sleep over that, especially if it's starting to feel overwhelming for some of you. The comfort here is the blanket. We're comforted by the Empress. That, to me, that's the Empress's blanket, right? And the Empress is that promise of a good life, you know? It's the promise that says, look, it's challenging, it's hard, life is hard, but it's worth it. This relationship might be challenging, your work, your financial goals, your dreams in life. It might be hard to keep your mind right. It's worth it. Okay? All the mental struggle that you're going through is going to pay off for you. The Empress is that energy that's trying to comfort you and say, keep doing what you're doing, hold fast, because it's going to work. Okay? And it's kind of like trying to get you to say, look, don't worry about it, lie down, get a good night's sleep, pull the blanket up close, get cozy, enjoy your life. Enjoy the cozy bed that you're in, because tomorrow's going to be more hard work. So in a way, this card is saying we got to take care of ourselves. Okay? You got to be able to, you got to find a way to sleep at night. Because your life, your world needs you strong, of sound mind and body, right? Your goals need you. So you got to find a way to get some sleep. Yeah. And so I think this is a challenging card, but to me, this isn't a bad card by any means. Okay. The 3 of Wands is quite a lovely card too. It's a card of virtue and integrity. It's a card really of like understanding the right thing to do and kind of waking up in the morning and thinking this is another day where I'm going to kick some butt and I'm going to get things done. And I am going to, continue to, establish my strength and assert myself. I feel that there's really a determined energy here. I feel like you're a very, very persevering person right now. And to me, this is the energy of really like not giving up. It's a time to really be firm and decisive. It's a time for generosity and for good feelings and for happiness and friendliness. But it's really a time for self-respect and integrity and to assert yourself and to not let things fall into disrepair or neglect. That is your response. And here you are up at the crack of dawn looking over your life and thinking, what do I got to do today? It's my responsibility and I got to take care of this stuff. I can complain, I can lose sleep over it, but at the end of the day, we've got to do something about it, okay? So this is you establishing your empire, And I think that, this has implications for your relationships. This is in the position of your relationships and the position of your environment. To me, feels like this is somebody who, kind of knows what they have to do. Yeah, they have to wear many hats. I think you've got to be a lot of things in your life. There's been a trend today with this energy for these readings. It's been a lot of fire energy today. Okay, so I feel that there is a lot of there's like a nobility here. Yeah, and it's kind of a pride. It's taking pride in your efforts and in what you're able to do and what you're accomplishing. Allow yourself to feel that pride, of accomplishment. Now, the details that we see, and especially with this creative oracle card here, the Eight of Swords is that card of overthinking and over-analysis and that card of rumination, okay? But it's really, we're paying attention to the details, but the problem is it may make us start to feel a little bit helpless, right? To me, this is kind of an indecisive card. It's almost like it's almost like we feel overwhelmed by all of the details of life, and we get to feeling a little helpless because we're overthinking it. We're overanalyzing everything. Okay, that and this is in the position of what we don't want. So this is a good card. What we don't want to do is look at all the details of life and feel like, my hands are tied. I can't do anything about it. Or that we keep looking at all the problem. We're just running around identifying all the problems, and then we go back to the beginning. We're identifying all the problems again, and we're just like, we're pointing our finger at all the problems, but we're not actually doing anything to fix them. Yeah. So this is good that this card is in this position, because again, this is the energy you don't want. The last thing you want to do this week is avoid your problems. The last thing you want to do is overthink everything or self-sabotage. Okay? The last thing you want to do is, is to believe that there is no solution to some of these problems. Okay? It would be one thing to just ignore the intuition and not pay attention to the details and just be wrapped up in this moon energy. It'd be another thing to be aware of the details, to look at them and see them, but then just kind of stare at them with our mouth hanging open and not doing anything. Okay. The Eight of Pentacles, of course, is that refinement. It is you kind of working the problem. Whatever the issues are, whatever you're working on in life, whether you're retired, whether you're in school or you're in your career, it doesn't really matter what you're doing. When I say work, I just mean like what you're burning calories doing every day, what your purposeful activities are. Maybe you're in a book club, maybe it's a garden, maybe you're doing stuff around the house. That's exactly what this card is all about. You're out here just doing it, and you're doing it as many times as you need to. You're over here just fixing little things, like fixing the toilet. You're going to fix the banister. You're going to you're going to dig that hole outside. You're finally going to fix the gutters or whatever, There's a patience And there's a diligence here, and there's an attentiveness. It's kind of methodical. Okay, so this is really a week for slowing down and paying attention to the details, the things that need your attention, and working on them. Not just identifying the problems and saying, okay, I wrote all the problems down. No, by saying that's a problem, and I got to take one step to fix that problem right now. It's not a week for procrastination. It's not a week for daydreaming or just like thinking about the solutions, but it's about identifying the problem. Oh, hey, that screw is loose. Let me get my screwdriver and fix that screw. Not saying, that screw is loose. I'll write that down. I'll come back to that one later. What's the problem over here, you know? Because then you're never going to come back to the screw and actually tighten the screw. It's just one screw. Just tighten it now. So in a way, this card's kind of saying if something can be done today, right now, just do it when you see it. If there's some, dish in the sink that needs washing, don't just say, okay, I got to remember I got to do the dishes later. Yeah, just do it right in that moment. Wash the dish real quick. It takes 10 seconds, and you're done. Okay? So this is careful work. This is paying attention to the fine details. It's very practical, very resourceful. And it's kind of in a way like whistling while you work. We're trying not to get in too much despair over it. We're just trying to be efficient. We're trying to be in the flow. Trying to do what we need to do as we need to do it. And it feels like there's a little bit of smoothness there. I feel like a rhythm. I feel like you're going to put on some nice, slow kind of music and just glide from one thing to the next, and you're just going to get a lot of stuff done. Okay, let's look at our mystery card here. I don't know, maybe the Empress, maybe some water energy for a little bit of comfort. If you have a prediction, please put it in the comments. Let's see. Oh yeah, 9 of Cups. That's a lot of comfort. That's a lot of happiness. This is the joy of accomplishment. This is saying every little thing that you get done is going to just be a win in your heart. That's just going to feel good. You're going around tightening that screw, fixing that toilet, and by the end of the day, you're just like, I'm sleeping like a baby tonight. I had such a good day. This is the satisfaction, of accomplishing those goals. This is the pleasure, taking pleasure in the work you're doing. Okay? This is very creative. For some of you, this is going to be the enjoyment of your relationship. If you're into romance and you're looking for love, this, I think, is a really good time to pay attention to the little details in your relationship and enjoy the little things. Take pleasure and happiness in the small things. Enjoy the life and enjoy the richness of life, and be kind, to the things in your life and the people and the pets and the plants and the people. And enjoy it. Okay. Anyway, if you want to go deeper, we're going to do an extended reading. Click on through. There is a link right here. Hit the join button. Okay? Scorpio, I want to thank you. I love you, and I'll see you there.